Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and today I'm going to be showing you why some lines seem steeper than others. So, through our everyday lives, of course, this purple line right here is steeper than the brown line. But what's the difference between this one and this one, really? So we can zoom in. So why don't we pick a point? Let's pick a point here, and then go left 2. Let me try that again. And go left 2. So that's 2, and up 2. So like you can see here, it's left 2 squares and up 2 squares. So this we would call this line, this like staircase thing, we would put the sign delta. Wrong pen. So for this kind of thing, we would put the sign delta. So this is the sign delta, and if we put delta x, that means change in. So delta means change in, and x is, so it just means change in x. So we would call it change by 2. So you would, the definition, and this is a slope if you haven't guessed already, the definition of a slope is change in x over change in y. So in this situation, the change in x equals 2, and the change in y, is also 2. So change in x over change in y is 2 over 2. Or you can just call it 1. So the change of this slope, the steepness of this slope here is 1. What about this purple slope? Well, the purple slope, let's see, so let's pick a point right here, let's say, and let's see for the change in x. So the change in x is 1, while change in y is 2. So we would call this one, so change in x equals 1. So the change in x equals 1, while the change in y, while the change in y is equal, while the change in y is equal to 2. So you would call this one 1 over 2. That's the slope of this line, 1 over 2. So you can figure out anything, but this is not a negative slope. To show what I mean, I'll show you what a negative slope is. So that's a negative slope. So as you can see here, let's do that same thing again. So let's pick 3 squares. If we go, let's say 4. If we go 4 squares, we have to also go 4 squares down. So this one would be change in, so this one would be change in x would equal 4. Well, negative 4 because we're going, no, 4, right? And then, but this one would be change in the change in y would be equal to negative 4. So, as you can see here, this is 4, negative 4. So, let's write that down. So, it's 4 over negative 4 and 4 divided by negative 4 is equal to negative 1, right? So this can also be written as negative 1. So let's try an even steeper hill. So there's an even steeper line. So what's the slope of this line? Let's see. So every time x changes, let's do it down here. Every time x, so when x, let's pick a random point. Every time x changes by 1, let's pick 2. So every time x changes by 2, let's see, it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So every time, so change in x is equal to 2 when change in y is equal to negative 8. Let me try that again. Change in y is equal to negative 8. Negative 8. So the change in x over change in y is 2 over negative 8. So, which is the same as 1 over negative 4. And we can calculate that. 1 divided by negative 4 is equal to negative 0.25. So this is the same as negative 0.25, right? So if we try an even steeper hill, this one's going to surprise you. There. That is another slope. So let's find the slope of this line. So the slope of this line, let's start from the top. So the slope of this line, every time it goes down, up, left 1, goes, let's see here, just keeps going. Let's see. Okay, there. That's the slope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's when the change in, let's do the change in y first. So change in y is equal to negative 16. I knew I shouldn't have done it in the same color, but anyway, while the change in x is equal to 1. So 1 over negative 16. So 1 divided by negative 16 is equal to 0.0625. So it's equal to 0.0625. That's the slope of this line. But what if, let's delete all this. But what if the line was basically flat? Or what if the line was basically vertical? What would happen then? Well, if it's like that, then if the line is completely vertical, let me draw that. If the line is completely vertical like that, oops. If the line is completely vertical like that, if it's like that, that means it's so every time it changes by 0, it goes down 0. So the problem here is it's 0. Oops, still in ruler mode. The problem with this is because it's 0 divided by 0. So anything divided by 0 is undefined. That's the problem. No, actually it's 1 over 0, but anyway. Sadly, it's undefined. So this slope we would call undefined. These slopes we'd call positive slopes because both of them are positive and the answer is positive. But if it's completely flat like this is not undefined, but every time it goes this way, every time it goes this way 1, then it goes 0 down or 0 up. So this is 1. This is 0 over 1. And again, this is 0. So this is a 0 slope. That's what it's called. And again, obviously, these slopes are called negative slopes. So that's what I know about slopes. See you next time at howtodosolveethan.com, or see you next time in the next video. Bye. Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan. Dang. Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and today... Hi. Cut. Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and today I'm going to be showing you what this video... Cut.